Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone has had a good week. It is Thursday, I believe March 28th, so we're almost out of March. And today I'm bringing to you my March wrap-up / April TBR. Now I have several disclaimers for this video. Firstly, it is only March 28th, so I'm filming it a couple days early, but I am leaving to go back home and visit my parents for 2 weeks. So I'm not gonna have all my stuff. So I figured I would just film this early, and then if I happen to finish a book between now and the end of the month, I'll just pop in and let you guys know. I really don't think I am going to, but if I do, I will make sure to tell you guys. Second disclaimer, please ignore the mess going on behind me. I am starting to move out of this apartment, and I'm slowly moving my books over the next month, so they will dwindle down, and I'm sorry it looks like that. I don't like it. I know you guys don't like it, but we're just gonna have to deal. So I don't have the physical copies, but I will just be putting up a cover wherever so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Now, this month was interesting because I was doing like pretty good with my normal reading, and then I hit an area where like I slumped out, but it wasn't a normal slump for me like when I would just not want to read at all. It was like I read bam, 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 3 books back in a row that were just, in my opinion, they were not good to me. I might get some hate for one of them, but we'll see. Anyway, let's just jump into it and get to what I read this month. The first book that I read was Starsight by Brandon Sanderson, which is the second book in the Skyward series saga. There's 4 of them. Yeah, I finished this really early in the month and I really liked it. I think I gave it 4.5 stars. I really can't remember because I finished it March 2nd. But Brandon Sanderson so far, I mean, this is only the second book I've read by him. He's just a really solid author. Might have something to do with the fact that these are young adult, but nevertheless, I am really enjoying them. I do have the third one and I'm planning on reading it hopefully soon. All right, the next book I do not have with me. It is packed away and no longer here, but I believe it was called Dungeons and Drama, maybe by Christy Boyce. You guys will see it here, so you'll know the name of the book and the author's name. Y'all, it was a young adult romance, and why was it so good? I loved it. Did I give it 5 stars? Let me check. So I gave it 4.5 stars, but I just remember reading it and it was so cute, and I thought the main couple was just to die for. I don't know. Sometimes the young adult romances are just so good, and I'm like, damn, if only I could have had something like that in high school, you know? If you're looking for a really fun, short, easy young adult romance, or just romance in general, you guys should read that. So the next book I read was In the Dream House by Carmen Mercado, which was my book club book for my Tennessee book club. And I did not rate it because, well, actually that was the first, like, are they autobiographies or biographies? It was a memoir. It was the first like memoir I've ever read, because you guys know I don't really read that stuff. I'm more of a like strictly fiction. I don't like to read about the real world kind of girl. But my book club picked it, so I listened to it on audiobook. It was very interesting. Like, listening to this poor girl's life, I was like, she went through some bad stuff, and I felt bad for her. She seemed at the end to be happy, so I'm happy for her. I do not think I'll be reading many more memoirs. I do want to read, what's her name? Sam Puckett from iCarly. If you watch Quiet on Set, the shit is crazy. I'm glad my mom died. I do want to read that one, because I think it would be very interesting, especially as of late. But yeah, memoirs are just probably not my thing, and that's okay. That's okay. I went on from the memoir and I went back to my roots. Dark Rise by C.S. Pacat, which is the first book in a, I believe, trilogy. There's only 2 books out right now though. I would describe this as like a dark fantasy, so like it felt really kind of like a dark academia fantasy, which I don't know if that actually exists, but it felt just really like grungy and dirty, like we're on the streets of old-timey London doing magic and shit. I really enjoyed this. I gave it a 4 star. Let me tell you, the end I was not expecting. I was like, oh, no way. If you're gonna read this, do not get attached to any of the characters because she's ruthless. That's all I'm gonna say. But I do now own the second one, and hopefully I'll be reading that one again soon. I'm making all these plans when I'm low-key in a slump. We'll talk about it later, and this is where everything went wrong. I decided to read an author that I have read 2 books from before, and one I did not like and the other one I really, really liked. So I was like, okay, 50% chance we're gonna like it or we're gonna hate it. And unfortunately, I fell into the hate it category, and I'm kind of scared to put this one up here, but it was Book Lovers by Emily Henry. I learned a lesson that I am no longer going to be reading her books because they're just not for me, and that is okay. I find her writing to be, well, at least this book was just boring. I was so bored the whole time. Can something freaking happen? I felt like I had read this story before, not from her, but like basically like it's already been done. I was so tired of it. I don't know. Charles, whatever his name was, he wasn't doing anything for me, and neither was the main character, who I don't even remember her name. That's how bored I was. Like, there was no redeeming qualities. Well, I liked her sister. Her sister was a redeeming quality. I gave it 2 stars. I was just bored. It was like putting my laundry up after I washed it. Like, getting me to sit down and read that book was hell. So when I finally finished it, I was very happy. Gave it 2 stars. Moved on. I was like, okay, I'm gonna read something I might like now, a fantasy book. And that book was Book of Night by Holly Black, which turns out I hated even more than Book Lovers. And I believe I gave it 1.5 star. I really have no words. Like, the concept was interesting. I just feel like she didn't execute it well. But you know who I feel like would have executed that well? Victoria Schwab. I feel like if she had written the book, I probably would have loved it. I'd been like, oh my God, this is the best book of all time. But it was Holly Black, and so I didn't feel that way. So after hating 2 books in a row, I was like, please, God, let me read something that I will like. Here's where this book comes in. Icarus by Kay Ancrum. My Barnes was closing, so everything was 50% off, and they put this out hella early. So I bought it because it was on my TBR, and I read it. Now, a note, my copy is like, the spine is detached. You can't really tell. Oh, you could kind of tell. Whatever. It's like written hella short. It's kind of like basically verse, or it's like a poetry, but not really. I don't know. It was interesting. So I started out liking the book, and then as it progressed, I steadily liked it less and less. And this is kind of when I started getting into a real slump, like not just everything I'm reading is shit, but I don't want to read. I got back into my Switch era. I've been playing so much Disney Dreamlight, it's ridiculous. I'm like, put it down, girl, and read a book. And I wound up giving this a 2 star. I know specific people who would really like this, like my roommate. I told her she would probably love it. And honestly, if I wasn't already kind of in a slump, I might have liked it more, but like the relationship between friends was just strange. I didn't really love anybody. Like, everyone was just kind of like, you're either annoying or a bad person. I don't know. I was just such a hater this month. Like, when I was going through the 3 books I just talked about hating, I was so mad. Everything I was reading was pissing me off. I had a problem with everybody. Like, I could have been reading the best book in the world, and I probably would have given it 2 stars. So after reading 3 books in a row, I was like, I can't even read. So I just started playing my Switch full time. And then one weekend I was like, you need to pick up a book. And I was like, I'm so scared to, because I've hated everything I've read, basically. An author who I have only read 1 book from before, again, got it at the Barnes & Noble sale, but I loved that book that I read. I was like, maybe I'll like this one. And that book was Dead Lake by Darcy Coates. Now, this is what I've been asking for. I actually liked this book. I liked it a lot. I did not realize going into it that it was like a bind up of short stories. I thought it was just 1 story, because it literally, it literally mentions nothing about that. Includes 4 stories that will leave you haunted. Well, that would have been nice to read, but I ignored that. So yes, it was 5 stories in here, and I think that's kind of why I liked it so much, because like one would end and then I would get right back into another thing. So it wasn't like I was bored. I gave it a 4 star. This author, like, anytime I read something by her, I just get so scared. I get creeped out. I was home alone most of the time reading this, so y'all know I was freaked out. I had to take breaks. I was like, okay, I'm scared. Let me go harvest my pumpkins. These are more like paranormal. So far, everything I've read by her, aka 2 books, have been paranormal. So like, if you're looking for an author like that, I would recommend Darcy Coates. Now, I have only read 2 books, so don't come for me if you don't like anything. So that's the last book I've actually finished, but I am like 90% through a book right now that I am probably gonna finish today or tomorrow, but I'm just gonna tell you guys. I've been reading on my Kindle. So I went to a hockey game last week, 2 weeks ago, and in between the, I don't really know the technical terms, quarters, innings, there's like an 18-minute break. So I started The Sweetest Oblivion, Danielle Laurie got from like Prime Reading. It was free and it's been on my Kindle for probably over a year. But yeah, I'm on chapter 45. Oh, I'm 85% of the way through. So I'm definitely gonna finish that this month. That's like my last book I wanna read. I don't really care if I don't finish anything else as long as I finish that. Okay, so now that I've told you guys what I have read in March, let's talk about what I wanna read in April. Do I have a TBR for April? Not really. I literally think I have 3 books on this TBR. I'm just scared. I'm scared with how I've been reading it. So I didn't want to set myself up for failure. But anyway, let's talk about them really quick. The first, a book I know I'm going to be reading because I have the audiobook on Libby and I'm going to be listening to it tomorrow on my 8-hour drive, is My Grandmother Asked Me to Tell You She's Sorry by Frederick Bachman, who is the author, I'm sure you guys know him. He's pretty popular, of like A Man Called Ove, Beartown, whatever. Never read a book by him. I loved the movie. I'll have this finished in April. Mark my words. My Louisiana book club, we're gonna go ahead and do it while I'm down there. The prompt for this month, or these, it was March and April, was to read a book with an apostrophe in the title. And this one has one. So I actually have to finish this before book club. Let's go ahead and get into the next book I have to read for my Tennessee book club. And she's kind of chunky, so Nightingale by Kristen Hanna, which I'm so excited about because I have not read a Kristen Hanna, as you guys, I don't know if you know that or not, but I haven't. I own 2. I own this one and The Great Alone, and my friends have been loving it, so I'm so excited. But it is almost 600 pages, and with my slumpiness, I was like, that's why I'm only doing 3 books. Like, this is set in like World War II. Apparently everyone sobs at the end, so maybe that's why I need like a book that makes me cry. The last book on my TBR is a book that I have, I know I like this series, so I'm hoping it'll just get me in the mood to read more, and that is To Sir Philip with Love by Julia Quinn. This is Eloise's book in the Bridgerton series, which Eloise is not my favorite character, but I just love these books. I devour them. So I'm hoping I will love this one and it will make me be like, okay, let me pick something else up and read it. Yes. I know I only have 3 books on my TBR, but I would really love to read more, maybe like 5. But yes, I hope you guys liked this video, and hopefully I will see you guys again. I don't really know if I'm gonna be posting another video this month, maybe besides an April wrap up. I don't know, because I'm gonna be gone for 2 weeks. But anyway, I will see you guys when I see you.